What's going on, everybody? Doug McDonald here, WrestlingRumors.net, Wrestling Warm-Up every single Monday night coming to you from the Man Cave. And, of course, we're joined by some of the best wrestling minds in the business as far as trolling everybody and being complete, utter bullcrap artists. It's us. That's who you come to listen to before each and every show. Of course, we've got people from WrestlingRumors.net that writes all the beautiful stuff you read every day from our website, joining us as well. And of course, we got some fans that read everything that we write every day, joining us as always, which would be John Warhood Howard, the Real Warhood, on Twitter at the Real Warhood, and of course Alex B. Song from WrestlingRumors.net, Glass Motor ALB, and of course Christopher Walter, who's in another location today, in front of a very beautiful china cabinet, which resembles nothing of a globe whatsoever. But good to see you, gentlemen. It is 7/14/14, and we've seen nothing yet as far as this whole Sting deal. And let's talk about that straight out of the chute. Sting, obviously, last week on Twitter blew up the Twitter machine and the Facebook machine with rumors of something going down on this date, 7/14/14. Of course, we wrote stories about it. We hit on it on our podcast, Wrestling Rumors Radio. We talked about the fact that this is more than likely just going to be the commercial that will debut Sting as a WWE entity and debut him as a player, a downloadable character, a pre-order character in WWE 2K15, which will come out in the States on October 28th and worldwide on October 31st on Halloween. That's likely what we're getting. We had reported way early that WWE had some outside production companies looking for a Sting body double, looking for an orchestra of fake pantomime playing, likely the WCW Crow theme for Sting. I don't know what else they would be playing unless Jim Johnson decided to make a new Sting theme, which I just don't think is going to happen. They own the rights to the Crow theme, which is recognizable. They can do that. Everyone's going to be dressed up in Sting paint in the commercial. I'm assuming that's what we get. Honky Tonk Man also on his official Twitter account put 7/14/14, which would likely mean maybe we get not only a commercial for Sting, but we get a little bit more announcement-wise as far as legends that'll be playable in the game. It was literally a year ago today on Monday Night Raw on 7/15/13 when we got the announcement that the Ultimate Warrior would be the pre-order character, and we saw a commercial featuring the Ultimate Warrior, and it wasn't too far after we found out he was going to be going into the WWE Hall of Fame. So one of those things where likely it's about the video game, but you never know what could happen, what could go down. WWE themselves got on the troll train today and teased 7/14/14 on their Instagram account. They wrote it literally just like Sting did, which was with the periods. And normally WWE doesn't list things that way. They list them with dashes. I double-checked. So one of those things where they recognized the teasery was happening, and they went ahead and started teasing as well, trolling as well. Now, a lot of people say, could Sting appear? Of course, Sting could appear. That's never going to be ruled out. But I want to hear from you guys. What do we think we're actually going to see tonight? It's going to be exciting either way. We finally get to see Sting involved with WWE in some sort of way. What do you guys think we see?
Yeah, it's history. I mean, we did see Sting in that Ultimate Warrior piece on the WWE Network talking about Jim Hellwig, but this is going to be like the first time we see the man they call Sting in his face paint. I would only assume so anyway. Like we've reported several times, he did the commercial. There was all the extras wearing the masks, the orchestra. We're probably going to get that tonight. As far as the Honky Tonk Man, and I believe Psycho Sid Vicious was doing the same thing. I could very well see both of those guys in the game as well. They really need to. They usually keep the same crop of legends for each of their games, so it would be nice to see, Honky Tonk and Sid in the game. But yeah, the odds of Sting actually being there on Raw tonight are very slim because we've never seen Sting in the WWE ring before, and you'd think that they would really hype up and promote such an appearance, but I think we're just going to play it safe and say we're going to see the reveal trailer for WWE 2K15 tonight, and if Sting is just a pre-order character, that's a very smart move on their part.
Mike Killam's joining us from WrestleZone, which is If you've been reading Twitter today, been under fire for Sting related rumors.
Have we?
Mike, yeah, it's been pretty funny. We've seen a lot of people actually going crazy on stuff. Yeah.
Shows you how much I pay attention, guys.
Right, well, one of our own, Frank Manzo, was arguing back and forth with somebody, which was really funny and really entertaining for a while there. Killam, you got something to say about Sting tonight? We were talking about the fact it's more than likely WWE 2K15 related, but what you got?
I have this Sting action figure, primed and ready to go. This is the official Elite TNA Sting action figure. Anyways, yeah, I don't actually expect him to show up. I have been off all day. Yesterday and today were kind of my off days, so I have no idea what's happening. I haven't even checked the dirt sheets in like 3 days, and I had no idea that our website was under fire. So
yeah. I mean, it's just from marks for themselves that were trying to say that you have no credible sources within WWE and that you have no idea what's going on and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think we ever said he's going to be on Raw. I'm pretty sure he said we probably won't be on Raw.
That's exactly what you said.
That's exactly what was said, and people read things wrong because they're illiterate, and this is the stuff that we get that happens. People just don't take time to actually read stuff.
It's my fault.
And they just make a stink out of it. So, right. But yeah, I think it's smart for them to play that. I mean, again, exactly a year ago today is when we got the Ultimate Warrior pre-order character reveal and some other stuff about the game came out on 7/15/13. It's 7/14/14. I think we're going to get the same kind of stuff. And WWE is not stupid to troll that way, to kind of tease on their Instagram account today, 7/14/14 as well. And of course to make sure that the show on the last night of the free WWE Network week, right after Raw, they're gonna do the best of WCW Nitro. How is that not a troll?
You sure we're not gonna get any Damien Sting now?
That would be I would not be against Damien Sting now. That would be the ultimate troll move by WCW by WWE and WCW's own Stinger. That would be fantastic to me. I would lose my mind. I would laugh my butt off because that would be the ultimate just middle finger to online wrestling fans, and it'd be really, really funny. But I fully expect this whole deal to be video game related. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something else as far as an involvement, an interview from Sting later on. Same kind of thing that we got with Warrior last year. I don't think we're going to get anything more than that.
A lot of people were talking on Twitter about, because Ric Flair's expected to be on the show tonight, that the likelihood of Sting being there himself rises because of Flair's appearance, and maybe the two of them will do something together. But let's put that to rest. There's no chance of that happening.
Well, clearly we're going to get the next installment in the classic Ric Flair versus Sting saga tonight.
Clearly.
Exactly. Like, we haven't seen enough of that.
Of course, and Ric Flair's going to bust him open with a punch straight to the eye with his Hall of Fame ring.
And then Flair's just going to bleed all over the place from nothing.
Yeah, for no reason.
He's going to breathe.
He'll cut himself.
Getting into the ring, he's going to cut himself open.
He'll get blown up and just he'll bleed. He'll just breathe blood.
He'll flail around his coat and smack himself in the face.
Yeah, that's likely what will happen. Speaking of Ric Flair, knowing that he will be on the show tonight, what do you guys expect to see out of Flair tonight on the show? What do you think his involvement will be?
Yeah.
You know what, Mr. Alex?
Yeah, I have nothing. He'll probably just go back with Miz, but
maybe.
God, I hope not.
Maybe to tie together the release of him. He's usually in the game as a legend. Maybe he'll, in some form, introduce the package of the legends.
That's such a waste of Ric Flair, though.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
I mean.
Fit him.
He's going to be an on-air character going forward. So what do we?
I've said this over and over again, but what I want to have happen is Dolph Ziggler.
Well, that's what Flair wants to have happen.
We all want to have that happen.
We'd love to see him with Ziggler. I think he's going to probably interact with Seth Rollins tonight because the last time we saw him in a big in-ring segment on Raw, he was pretty much praising the Shield. And now that Seth Rollins has turned on the group, he's his own man, Mr. Money in the Bank. Maybe we see a backstage segment between the two of them, giving him a little lecture or two.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
No, and you know, if he's gonna go, they're gonna make him heel. He wants to be a heel manager, but that's just not gonna work with WWE fans. They're gonna want to cheer. If you wonder what that thumping around noise is, it's Mike playing with his Sting action figure on his microphone. Just being a dick, making noise. That's what
I am a constant and consummate professional.
So,
you all wish you had the success.
If he's gonna be a heel, he could manage Seth Rollins and it would work. Except for the fans want to cheer him. We got a new move from Dean Ambrose on TV last week, where Ambrose actually used the figure 4. So maybe they're teasing Ambrose and Flair, but neither one of those guys needs Flair. Ziggler doesn't need Flair.
Yes, he does.
Ziggler needs a push.
You can make an argument backstage-wise. Putting Flair with Ziggler means they're going to do something with him. As far as being over, Ziggler does not need Flair to be over. I'll clarify. Ziggler's already over. He doesn't need Flair to be over.
More like
as far as progressing his career, he needs Flair.
He needs it to be relevant.
More like Flairify.
And here we go.
Get it?
Flair's going to build the show. Also, we have a big 6-man tag as the main event. All these guys that we're going to see again on Sunday night. This is a go-home show, so
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Man, I am really good at my job.
Really
it's been 2.5 minutes since Money in the Bank.
2.5 minutes, and minutes equals weeks. So we are go-home showing it, and got a big 6-man tag to end the night with Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Dean Ambrose going to get Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, and Kane.
Do you think that's a mistake to put Ambrose and Rollins in the same ring so soon, without a match being on the cards for Sunday?
There is a match on the card for Sunday.
They've announced it. You've been gone.
Oh my God, I'm so bad at my job.
It was confirmed on Friday. So
it was confirmed on Friday. I've worked since then.
Maybe it was Saturday. It was Saturday.
Man, I'm really good.
It was over the weekend. They announced and confirmed.
There's a reason that WrestleZone.com is the #1 pro wrestling website on the planet.
It's because your sources are so good.
But isn't it kind of surprising, though, that this match is taking place at Battleground? I thought for sure they'd keep it for SummerSlam.
It's gonna be a 3 pay-per-view program. We're gonna get it all the way tonight. We're gonna get it all the way to Night of Champions.
I would watch these guys all the way to next year, man. They're so
I would
good.
too. I'm not complaining that it's gonna go all the way to Night of Champions. I'm excited about that.
We could very well get a false finish on Sunday too. We might not get a decisive winner. Yeah.
Rollins is calling Ambrose the thorn in his side, and he's wanting to get rid of this thorn. And he's gonna pick it out of himself tonight. We'll see what happens. I really, obviously with a 6-man tag, you can protect a lot. You can protect who you want. Somebody like Kane can take the fall here, not really get damaged in any way, shape, or form. Or it could just be a big schmoz and take us to Sunday, leave us wanting more, because half the people that watch Raw obviously aren't watching SmackDown, even though numbers are rising. We've got Patrick joining us now. Patrick, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Doing all right. Talking about our main event, talking about Raw, we've been promised more guys. We've been promised more guys for the Intercontinental Championship Battleground Battle Royal. We've got 13 confirmed so far. I'm assuming they're either going to add 2 and make it 15 or add 7 and make it 20. We have no leeway, any kind of confirmation about how many people are going to be in this thing yet.
Yeah, make it 20.
I would assume 20. So you got 7 more guys they've got to throw into this thing if they're going to do 20, and 2 more if they're going to do 15. But who's going to be the rest of the guys they throw in that they haven't announced yet?
They could hold off Swagger and Rusev and throw him in there.
Diego,
Sting,
El Torito,
Ric Flair.
But they haven't announced Swagger versus Rusev yet, so that might not be on the card at all. Just throw those 2 in there.
Ultimate Warrior.
I mean,
Big Show.
Now you're just trolling, Mike. You don't even.
I wasn't with Sting and Ric Flair. That's not where it started.
No, see, the trolling started there, but then you went to deceased people, and that's when it's going to start getting a little.
I thought I started with deceased people.
Oh God Almighty! This is the type of show we're having tonight, fellas.
I don't know why you let me on your shows.
Sting is dead, apparently.
So is Fandango's manhood and everything else.
Oh, yeah, you can talk about Fandango.
Fandango, did you see the picture of the culmination of that feud?
We're an open society now, so Fandango made Layla and Summer Rae gay. That's the big plot twist of this whole thing. They kissed at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, they kissed at Madison Square Garden. Do we have to take a drink for that? Because that was on what pay-per-view?
I'm okay with that.
That's Fandango's gimmick now. He just looks down and just judges himself.
This is the best feud I've ever heard of now. This is great.
It was 2.5 weeks ago at Money in the Bank when we said that likely these two girls were going to kiss, and it took 2.5 weeks for them to actually do it.
Fan No Dingalingo, that's his name now, and then that's
incredibly
my humor is out there today. Fan No Dingalingo.
Why those two and Fandango are one of the 5-point previews for tonight? That scares me. It scares me very bad.
Like after getting back from Japan and a Madison Square Garden tour, one of the key points going into Raw this week is two divas and Fandango.
Right, exactly right.
Because WWE is positive that no one watched SmackDown, so they're going to do the same exact thing tonight.
Right,
of course. That's what we've been seeing every week. We know the Authority's going to be back. What do they have up their sleeve? What are we going to see from the Authority tonight as they come back from their week-long vacation backstage?
Stephanie McMahon in a very tight dress.
Fair.
I'm going to guess that they're going to come out, they're going to say some things that people don't like, and they're going to put over their guys, and then nothing will actually happen. Like the last, 6 months of them being television.
Prediction.
Hashtag
predictions.
Hashtag just general basic prediction.
Yeah.
Is that even a prediction at this point?
No, it's just like a certainty.
It's a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler, it's a guarantee, boys.
It's a spoiler if I put it on WrestleZone. It makes people believe it.
There you go. And they'll question your source, which is you.
They never question my sources. All right, let's get that clear right now. I'll blame Dave Meltzer.
Bray Wyatt, Chris Jericho going forward. What do we see tonight from the Wyatts and Jericho? Are you excited? Is anyone excited about this, or is anyone not excited about this? Myself, I'm excited about seeing Wyatt Jericho. I know some people are saying that they're not excited. So, give us your opinion. What do you think?
I'm excited for the match. I just wish it would go past September. I mean, to get maybe a maximum of 3 matches out of this kind of seems like just too little.
I always felt the best course of action was for Jericho to fight Miz at Battleground and then just have Wyatt interfere so you can build up to a match at SummerSlam. But they're going right for the guts here. They're going to do it at Battleground. I could see a rematch at SummerSlam, but who knows? I think the build's been relatively weak, but I think the match is going to be great. And
they've had 2 weeks. They've only had 2 weeks.
It's been thrown together. That's why it hasn't really worked so well.
But they've got time. I mean, that's the thing. We're banking on a 3 pay-per-view program with these guys as well, much like we were with Rollins and Ambrose. We've got time. We don't have to rush. That's one of those things where we can start the feud here in this match at Battleground on Sunday and then progress it more because it will end in September. Jericho's got to go on tour and get back into life. So
is anybody else a little disappointed that this whole thing has basically been used to diminish any return pop that The Miz could have had?
Yes.
I mean, I know that I'm like one of very, very few fans of his, but I'm really disappointed that they basically overshadowed his return with the return of a guy who's going to be gone in 2 months. As much as I love Jericho.
Right. I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Warren.
He has a role. He's a very good talker. I think we had this conversation before. He's good on the mic. He's charismatic. Was it last week?
Yeah.
But he's not overly good in the ring, and it's kind of sad. He is someone you could use to elevate talent at this point, but they're not going to use him. They're using him basically to push him aside, and he's going to be off air soon for more weeks because they're not going to find anything to do with him.
Miz is. I disagree. I don't think Miz is anywhere near in a role where he can be used to elevate talent. I think he's been buried so much in recent months that it's like, who cares at this point? And Stephanie McMahon said this in a promo last year where she mentioned subtly that the Miz peaked way too early, and I think that's the case. He had his run as WWE champion, and now it's just been downhill ever since. He's a good utility guy. He can make appearances on the radio, like Stephanie McMahon said, but at this point, does it really matter what they use him for?
It's a valid point.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
that's what I bring to the show.
bringing him in to bring in Jericho, to swerve the fans because the fans all thought it was Jericho and then it was the Miz and.
That was a good segment. I liked that. I just kind of wish that Miz got his comeback. I wish that he hasn't been buried 3 weeks in a row.
But I will say, as far as wins and losses, I'll give you that. But I will say that his character is a lot better.
That's true.
And I'm not giving up on him just yet.
Sure.
If it was handled properly, Miz would have beaten Jericho at Battleground with Wyatt's help.
Miz will be added
That's
to
what
the
they should have done.
Championship Battle Royal.
Probably, yeah.
Tonight, and I guarantee you that he'll put up a good showing in it because I really think that this new character it really does have potential. He is a really good stick guy. He can really get the crowd to either just hate his guts or it took a while to try to get him over as a face, but if you go back and watch the Monday Night Raw in Cleveland the night after Royal Rumble this year, Miz got a really good response, bigger than Dolph Ziggler's even. I think that as far as in-ring goes, yes, he's not the best guy, but he can do things that people say, Sin Cara can't effectively pull off each week. As far as being consistent, not getting hurt. If we're going to talk about Mystico anyway. But I think that Miz is a good hand. He's decent in the ring. Has his choice moves that are really good if he can pull them off correctly. But it's very good on the microphone, and I like the new character. I think that he actually has potential to stay upper mid-card here and not get thrown into some stupid jobber feuds.
He'd be good fodder to build up heat for in the next 3 to 5 months, and then put that back on Barrett when he comes back. You know what I mean? If they chose to give him the Intercontinental title, I think it'd be a good filler.
They're going to have to make him look good one of these days.
Yeah, I mean they got to give him some kind of retribution and some good wins, likely against Kofi Kingston. But you got this battle royal coming up, and man, we've talked about our theories on why and how Cesaro would be a good choice here. We've talked about why and how Bo Dallas would be a good choice here. We've talked about why and how so and so. We've yet to talk about Sheamus and how they're even acknowledging on WWE.com, they're acknowledging on TV that Sheamus wants to win and unify the titles, which is something that they've been rumored wanting to do.
That's the first time I've heard someone actually mention that on television in a long time.
Ever. It's one of those things where we talked about the unification of that back in December when they were talking about the unification of the World and WWE Championships. Once that happened, the very next week on WWE.com, there was an article between Dean Ambrose and Big E talking about unifying the two titles in a match sometime soon. It was even talked about possibly even happening at Elimination Chamber and/or WrestleMania 30. That didn't happen. This would be an easy way to do it. Have Sheamus go over here, take the title, unify the two, and if you're wanting to put the gold on Cesaro and Lesnar at SummerSlam, then you can do that. Heyman has a powerful faction moving forward, a new Heyman alliance, if you will, if Heyman got a dangerous alliance action.
With CM Punk, right?
Yeah, because CM Punk's coming back tonight. One of those things, but because his contract's up in 3 days, they have to do it tonight.
7/14/14.
7/14/14.
Guys, really excited for TNA's 8/14/14.
Let's stay on track.
Sorry.
But seriously, I want to know your thoughts. Do you think that this could be something that WWE can pull the trigger on? Sheamus actually pulling in the being the last guy in the ring at Battleground, getting both titles and unifying them.
No.
No, I don't think so. I think what WWE is trying to do is because Sheamus, they still consider him a main event player, but when you look at the Battle Royal roster, and the fact that he's United States champion, I think they just want to make him look like a credible threat at this point. I think the safe route to go is for Cesaro to become IC champion at Battleground, and then for the two of them, Sheamus versus Cesaro, to have a unification match at SummerSlam, because I think there's money in actually having the IC champion fight the United States champion, and that makes Cesaro look even better if he holds both belts, aligning himself with Heyman and Lesnar, who might be world champion by August.
But okay, so even if Sheamus doesn't pull it out and win the title, you think maybe we see a unification title match for sure at SummerSlam?
At SummerSlam, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one of the things we need to talk about is this new WWE logo that's going to be on everything. They could easily just replace the WWE logo that's on the IC title and on the US title. But if you're going to unify them, and you're going to unify and bring back one belt for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which has been rumored to be the case as well. They're working on changing it to just being one belt, not carrying around two all the time, since we know that's got to be a pain in the ass. Do we see a unification here and the new logo gets slapped on a Intercontinental Championship belt? Do we get rid of the U.S. title for good? Come SummerSlam, at least, by SummerSlam. Do you think we're done with the U.S. title?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
As much as this is going to be a negatively viewed opinion, I actually think it might be time to retire them both, because I think WWE is very aware that the stigma of the Intercontinental title at this point is a low card title, and it is not near the prestige that it used to be. And they've tried to bring it back, and it's not going to happen. I think if they're going to do something like that, it might be time to kind of just do away with both of them and unify them and bring out something new. Whether or not that'll actually... I still don't think the unification is going to happen. But I think it might be time. And people might not be receptive to that. But, it's had a good, 40-something year odd run.
No, I think that I don't think that the WWE is willing to part with that IC title.
They have in the past, though.
They have retired, titles before. I mean, obviously, European titles done, cruiserweight titles done, light heavyweight championship titles done, women's championship titles done.
Well, the IC title was gone for a while too.
IC title was gone for a couple years. I mean, it's one of those things where it can happen. That was part of the issue of the prestige going down in the first place. The IC title going away for a while and then coming back, and all these different things where it just hasn't been booked well, and the players that have been going for the title and bragging about their title. And the funny thing is that when you watch, for those that have the WWE Network or those that subscribe to WWE 24/7 in the past when it was on cable, when you watch some of these guys talk about, especially like on countdowns now and all these different things they're doing on the network, when you watch these guys talk about their Intercontinental Championship reigns in the past, like if it's Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels or even Dolph Ziggler talk about it in his thing. A lot of these guys talk about the fact that, like, when you're looking at Shawn Michaels and you're looking at Razor Ramon, you're looking at the ladder match even, you have guys like Seth Rollins that are like, yeah, the IC, this is when the Intercontinental Championship actually meant something. These guys are actually acknowledging this, like what Mike said. They're actually, WWE guys, at least on camera, are acknowledging the fact that the IC title does not mean near as much as what it did even 10 years ago. And, if WWE, the company, didn't think that as well, they wouldn't allow their guys to say it on camera and be published and used for content on the WWE Network. So they do. They understand. They totally understand that it's not what it is. It's not what it once was.
Well, there hasn't been that one historic feud for the IC title in recent memory where you can look back on and compare it to, Michaels Ramon or Austin Rock or Hart Perfect. We just haven't had those kinds of storylines. Hell, there hasn't really been a storyline period for the IC title.
No, and that's what we thought we were going to get. Coming out of this tournament, the tournament could have been used in a very good way to build, actual feuds for the title where it makes it seem relevant. Like, have Cesaro and Wade Barrett go after it for a couple months and really talk about the fact that I want this title. This title means something. They tried to do that with Big Show and Cody Rhodes, and it wasn't enough because it's Big Show. This guy's a giant, and now he wants this title that's been, a pissant title for years. No, it's not going to work, and it didn't. It didn't work.
I really like when the commentaries team, like if there's on SmackDown a couple months ago, it might have been longer. I don't know. I don't watch SmackDown too often, but I caught one episode where they were having a IC versus US title match for the main event, and I think it was Barrett versus whoever at the time, and throughout the night they did these like preview packages highlighting like the history of both titles, and they had people on commentary talking about the importance of the titles. It's like, we need more of that. We need, like, literally every time the champion is in the ring, they need to be talking about like the past champion holders, the past,
more than just Pat Patterson, who was the first one that ever held it. I mean, they talk about the fact that Pat Patterson held that title. He was the first Intercontinental Champion all the time. They don't bring up, and they'll bring up Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Those are the only two that they really will put over as Intercontinental Champion. Unless you're Curtis Axel. When Curtis Axel won it, then they put over Mr. Perfect for 6 months. But we saw how well that worked. And they even put him and Paul Heyman, and we see how well that worked.
What they basically do now anyways is that they have these non-title matches, like, for example, with the Intercontinental Champion on Raw. The champion loses, making himself look weak, and then you just get the rematch a couple of weeks later on pay-per-view. So it's like it doesn't even really mean anything. Yep.
I mean, it's just poor booking as far as mid-card goes. I mean, that's something we've talked about for weeks, if not months, if not the last 2 years. Poor mid-card booking is why... and the reason, and it's a struggle that they're going to have to either commit to raising the bar when it comes to IC title feuds and programs to make the title relevant again, because they had to lessen when they threw in the World Heavyweight Championship, which became your second-tier title to the WWE Championship over the last few years, when we had two major titles on Raw and SmackDown. You can argue and say that the WWE title was over here on one program and the world title was on the other program, and they were equal to each other, but they really weren't. We always looked at the SmackDown show as the B show, and we always looked at that title as the B title. And that made the IC title C, and that made the US title D. And, it's one of those things where when they combined in 2012 and started bringing us 3-hour programs every single week, the last 2 years we had WWE title here, World Heavyweight Championship here, IC here, US here, and it's one of those things when they merge these two, they still have yet to bring the IC title from C back up to B. And if they're not going to do that, then they need to get rid of it. I agree.
We get to the point though where there are only 2 singles titles, and I think the creative team will have a much easier time writing actual story. I mean, Rollins and Ambrose could be feuding over the unified title right now.
Correct.
It'd be like a really good story that was boosted by the prop that is the title.
Right, and I don't think, but I don't think that if they do this right, I don't think that a Sheamus Cesaro feud going forward for the next couple months would be bad to unify it as well. I think that would work. What else is Sheamus and Cesaro going to do at SummerSlam?
Agreed.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that it works. And again, if you wanted to have Cesaro be if you wanted to take the belt off of Sheamus, let Sheamus go cruise back up to the main event level of booking, then you can have your Cesaro take the title, and that way you have, say, Lesnar, who's rumored to win the world title, wins, and Cesaro wins, and literally you have 2 sets of gold, the 2 singles gold, the 2 singles championships are around the waists of guys that are represented by Paul Heyman, and that's a lot of power going forward in the next couple months for his guys. So I think that would be. I think it would be smart, and I think that it's one of those things where you have the Usos with the titles. Do we see the Usos lose the titles on Sunday?
Yes.
Who's in that match?
We're saying that the Usos are losing the match on Sunday. Who's saying that they're not?
You can't have the Wyatts lose again. Especially 2 out of 3 falls. That changes everything.
That's true.
I thought you said the Wyatts wouldn't take the belts off, though.
Not at Money in the Bank. And I would have stuck with that prediction had I known that it was going to be something else at Battleground. I did not think they were going to do this 2 straight pay-per-views. And now that it's 2 out of 3 falls, you can't, under any circumstances, have Harper and Rowan lose again. I know it would look weird because Bray Wyatt wouldn't be a champion, but the fact that they're doing this just proves that they're probably going to put the belts on him.
Yeah.
Does anyone disagree?
I mean, I don't disagree, but the only part I disagree with is that they can't do it. Like, I have already forgotten that they lost last month.
Right. Yeah.
But it's 2 out of 3 falls, though. You're going to have them lose twice?
Yes, and a month from now, we're not going to be talking about this match. So I'm saying your point is totally valid, but
Right.
because of the way booking is right now and the way that our mindsets are so rigid, like we'll be talking like maybe they shouldn't have lost. It'd be cool if they were the champions, but I don't think anyone's going to be saying like, well, they suck now because they lost 2 falls like a month ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're going to be booked strong in everything else that they do.
Right.
Because of Wyatt's.
They'll come back on Raw and dominate or something. But
Right.
That's
I
fine.
still think you're right. I still think they're going to win.
My prediction would just be, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Doug. I would just say the Wyatts win on Sunday, and then at SummerSlam, you just throw another team in there and make a triple threat. Probably like Goldust and Stardust. Yeah, just do the 3 teams. And
I think
wing it.
Goldie
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Cody are probably going to go. I think
Ryback.
you and Ryback, man. God. Alex is the biggest Ryback mark.
He is.
I love it. That's his thing.
Hey, what if Ryback wins and they get back with Paul Heyman, then Paul Heyman has all the belts?
No.
No. Yeah, thank you, Alex.
What if I started
He
watching?
killed their career. Never again.
What if I started watching Impact?
The funny thing is after suggesting multiple times on this program that after suggesting that Cesaro should win, and even if it is a unifying match at SummerSlam, if Cesaro wins the Intercontinental Championship and the U.S. title, and they merge them, and it's just the Intercontinental Championship after that. If Cesaro wins that, and then Lesnar wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, they both win at SummerSlam. I've had multiple people on Twitter tell me, well, shouldn't the Ascension come up from NXT right away and join Paul Heyman and win the tag team titles at SummerSlam as well? And to that I say, do you think that he has to have all the titles, or can he not just have these 2 guys that he's representing right now win titles? That would mean that Paige would need to join Paul Heyman and win the Divas Championship.
Awesome.
Well.
To be fair, that sounds incredible.
I mean, no, I'm not saying that doesn't sound incredible. I just don't think that the WWE is going to pull the trigger on all that. That's a lot. Let's put Paige with Paul Heyman now, and now let's put the Ascension with them. I don't think the Ascension would be bad with him, but
would you imagine if? And I thought about this the other day. What if they put AJ with Heyman, knowing that the fans already want to chant for
Such
Punk,
a better fit.
right,
Yeah.
capitalizing on that momentum that she has from CM Punk?
Exactly.
hilarious.
Girl.
I mean, it'd be hilarious. It'd be awesome. He's always talked about, he's always been teasing the next Paul Heyman guy could be a girl.
He proposed to her, for crying out loud.
It's true. They could do that as a way to mock the CM Punk AJ
And Punk returns because AJ's cheating on him with Paul Heyman.
Oh God, no! You just jumped all of the sharks.
Yes, shit.
There are no more sharks left because you
I
just jumped
said
them
what
all.
all of Twitter is
Every
saying.
shark in the ocean. It was not jumping.
Hey!
You jumped all sharks. I agree with Killam on that.
Man, I don't even do that.
No.
No, you do. You do that.
You do, Warhead. You
Let's
are.
be honest.
You do. You do.
Yeah,
Totally
let's
do.
put Ryback
Yeah,
in.
but I have no reputation to lose when I make comments like that.
I'll agree with you there.
Kill him. Just leave that like that for the rest of the show, and just talk as Sting, and we'll be okay.
Oh my God, he's here.
It's
I know,
showtime.
right? He showed up on our show first.
7-14-14.
7-14-14. Just say that over and over.
It's almost 7:14 too. Oh my
It is.
God.
Oh. Maybe it really meant 7:14 p.m. on the 14th day.
Do you have like a toy
14th hour.
cabin Sting can walk into and we can all assume it's Sting, but it's really Undertaker?
That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing.
That would be awesome. All right, let's talk about early predictions. We're gonna give our finalized predictions, obviously on the website. Come Saturday, we'll have straight up predictions from Mr. Chris Walter. We'll be putting those together for Battleground, and of course on Wrestling Warm Up, which will go live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday before the pay-per-view. We'll talk about those predictions. We'll talk about our drinking game, all that kind of stuff that we always have for you guys here on Wrestling Warm Up before the pay-per-view shows actually go live. But let's do some early predictions. Who do you think, obviously, I'm not going to say obviously, but who do you think walks out with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on Sunday?
Are we really stalling here? Cena.
No, I mean, I don't know. No one's
I was only stalling because I actually had to think about who was in the match. I was like, oh god, who's fighting for the title on Sunday?
It's a fatal four-way: Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Orton King.
It's Cena is going to win, and there's like a 50% chance maybe Lesnar closes the show by attacking him, setting up SummerSlam.
Agreed. That same thing.
As the popular hashtag has gone over since Money in the Bank, hashtag LOL, Cena wins.
As everyone predicts. All right, so the Intercontinental Championship, Battleground Battle Royal. Who goes over here?
Cesaro.
Everyone is picking Cesaro, huh?
I'm going to say Miz.
I'd say Sheamus has a very good chance. If they tease it more tonight, I'd definitely pick him.
I'm going to pick Miz with an outside chance of Sheamus.
So we got Miz, we got Sheamus. I like the Sheamus pick. We've talked about why it's smart for Cesaro. I still see a match between Cesaro and whoever the champion is at SummerSlam as the better route to take. And if you're going to go that way, then do whatever. But if you're gonna make the title, if you're gonna put the title on someone to let them run with it for months, believe Bo Dallas. If they're gonna give it to somebody and let it run for a while, Bo Dallas would be nice.
Bo Dallas can run all the way back to NXT.
You've lost your mind. Get out of here. You're not believing, Mike. You're not believing.
Sting's just in a bad mood, man. Look at him. Look at that face.
Believe.
I actually do like Bo Dallas.
His vines are hilarious.
Yes, they are great.
No, he's just overall is fantastic.
I respect his ability to be the most annoying human being on the planet.
I love it. I love every minute of it. All right, so tag team titles. Most of us, if not all of us, are saying the Wyatts pull those nasty, ugly belts off of the Usos.
But I'll switch my pick at the last second to be the only one right.
Yes, you will. And then, of course, we will have Paige and AJ Lee. Do we see AJ Lee retain or Paige
AJ
gain?
AJ will win.
Okay.
I would love to see Paige get a upset victory in a real match and have their feud go on to SummerSlam.
Would be nice.
Or we could just see them alternating the title until one of them gets to 16, and then they can brag about beating Flair before Cena does.
That would be amazing. We're going to have a nasty little grudge match between the Funkadactyls as they are now extinct. In a match that nobody cares about. Who wins here?
Cameron.
Naomi. It's gotta be.
Yeah, it better not be Cameron.
I shudder to think the day that Cameron beats Naomi on
Naomi should win, but they're going to give it to Cameron.
Naomi has to win.
Alicia Fox versus Molina wins.
What does she have? Why does she have to win?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter. For me, Cameron can't beat Naomi in the history of life. Just because of how terrible she is.
History of life.
I really don't think that she could ever go over her.
I think the booking Cameron actually has to win because she's the underdog heel that's trying to prove something right now. And in order to keep heat on her, and they have 3 concurrent Divas programs running right now, in order to keep heat on her, she has to go over Naomi.
Thank you.
I agree, storyline-wise.
And I think it's an awful idea.
Logistically, it's a terrible idea to ever, in the history of life, have Cameron go over Naomi. We're likely to see Jack Swagger Rusev if they're not in the Battle Royal. Do we see Rusev go over here and then have Swagger go over at SummerSlam? Is that what we're looking at?
Sure.
Yes.
Rusev goes over at Battleground, but if his first loss will come to Swagger at some point.
Right.
I think SummerSlam, that would be a nice moment for Swagger to win there.
They've caught lightning in a bottle with this. That pop he got 2 weeks ago in Hartford was incredible.
It's a really patriotic pay-per-view, SummerSlam.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's your summary event. It's your Great American Bash for WWE. So, but don't forget, there's a Great American Bash DVD coming out, tomorrow. So make sure you check that out as well. That should be on the WWE Network.
That's why Sting's there, right?
That's why Sting's going to be there tonight, right, guys?
To promote the DVD.
To promote a DVD.
And win the U.S. title.
He's never been on WWE TV at all. But Sting's going to debut tonight to promote a DVD of the Great American Bash.
Is it any less ridiculous than a video game?
Yes.
That's fair.
Very. No, it's not fair. If Sting shows up in person in a ring to literally build up this DVD that comes out tomorrow, and there's no way that's the same as having a...
And then leaves and never comes back.
Right, exactly.
Changing his name to
There's
Stung.
no way. There's no way. They're not going to do that. There's no possible way. Yes, it's different. It's not the same.
Boarded Steven.
The game, if they build it up with a baller commercial, that he's the pregame character, they build it up to where they're going to do interviews and have him appear later on. They possibly build towards something with him appearing later on and promote his first WWE appearance ever in a WWE ring. That's where the money is. You don't just have him come out to promote a DVD. That's stupid. The game will at least generate some kind of hype for Sting is finally, getting involved with WWE. And I think that's why, a lot of people, even Jim Ross acknowledged when he said that Sting's going to be on his podcast on July 29th, he acknowledged Sting is in the game. Like, that's where we have all these spoilers about Sting being in the game. Jim Ross literally said Sting is a part of this game. And today on a new blog, Ross says, fans won't be disappointed. They're going to bitch and moan either way. If Sting's on the show, if he's not on the show and it's just the game, some fans are going to bitch and moan about this and some fans are going to bitch and moan about that. But either way, fans are going to be a little bit pleased with what they see. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Monday Night Raw, which goes live in about 40 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with us. We've had one of the best crowds we've ever had right here on Wrestling Warm Up, which is awesome. Glad that you guys could join us tonight. We're at a later time from now on, 6:30 p.m. to 7:20, 7:25 p.m. every single Monday night before Raw. Thanks for joining us. We're glad that you had some fun. For our panel, Alex B-Song, Chris Walter, War Hood, Patrick came in here. Sting is with us at 7:14. Mike Killer.
It's showtime.
It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the pre-show. Enjoy wrestling. We'll catch you again Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Wrestling Warm-Up right here on WrestlingRumors.net. Enjoy the show tonight. Live tweet with us at WrestleRumors. We'll talk to you later on. Peace.